Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Awesome, awesome. All right. Um, Nightly review for Friday, even though I didn't trade. I do these nightly reviews on the charts to see where trades would have been, what price action looked like at the time. Would it have gone with the bias I would have on the day? Um, and so on and so forth. This is how I learn, guys and gals. Um, People say, well, yeah, it's easy to see in hindsight. But hindsight is where you get confidence in your system. When you see the trades working, um, you know, even in hindsight, you know that the system works. So that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Um, so let's take a look at what happened today, and what I would have seen, right? So, okay, before we do that, a couple of big changes. Um, One, I'm very proud of myself, even though I would have made money today, that I had more important things to get done than trading. And so I decided not to trade on a Friday. Um, and it didn't bother me. I'm cool with it. Doesn't matter. I'm good. I made profits this week. And why would I give myself, or why would I give the market the chance to take any of those profits away on the last day of the week? Okay. Um, a lot of the traders that I know that are good traders, they don't trade on Mondays, and they typically don't trade on Fridays. They will if it's a good day, and I thought today was going to be a good day to trade, honestly, and I'll show you why in a minute. But they typically don't trade on Fridays, especially if they're already in profit for the week. Again, why give the market a chance to take away the profits you've already made this week? Okay. Um, just wait for the new week, take an extra day for the weekend, and be done with it. Most of the good traders I know trade Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the middle of the week. Okay. And I'm starting to see why. Uh, so I'm just kind of thinking about this. And today I decided not to trade, had other things to do. And that was it. Also, Casper has a uh, risk system. Okay. That I mean, you've all seen my profits, and you also know that I've blown accounts. Um, so I'm taking big swings in P&Ls, okay, which doesn't really bother me, um, but I would like to see a more steady upward curve on my P&L, right? So I'm going to take Casper's advice as usual. Um, Basically, everything that he's shown me and I've put into practice works. So why not do this as well? Um, I've always said I don't like to limit my profits on trades because I want to get as much money as that trade will let me take out of the market, right? Um, and I may still work that in a way where I don't quite limit my profits, but I'm certainly going to limit my losses. Okay. Um, so yeah, that's what we're going to do. Each trade I take is going to have a 20-point stop loss, and my target is going to be 60 points, a 3-to-1 trade. Okay. Now, I am always going to set my stop loss but I am not going to set my take profit. Okay. Once I reach the 3 to 1, then what I want to do is I want to take one contract off because each of these trades will be entering with two contracts. Okay. Um, that will keep me at an $800 stop loss and at least a $2,400 win if the trade works out. Okay. Well, I shouldn't say that. If I take one contract off, it will be at least a $1,200 win. Okay. For the day. Once I take that first profit, I will move my stop loss to break even and I will start price weighting a trailing stop on the 1 minute chart to see if I can get more profit out of that second contract. Okay. So I'm willing to give back a little bit um, of that second contract, but not much because it's going to be price weighted trailing stop. If you don't know what that is, Casper explains it. It's very cool and it's the way I want to start trading it. Okay. So that almost went out. With that being said, I can take two losses in a day, one win, and I'm done. Okay. Um, and that will keep my losing days smaller than my winning days. Okay. Because I'm risking $800 per trade. If I lose two, that's $1,600. Okay. On a winning day, um, I should be making at least $2,000. Okay. If I'm using the price weighting, I shouldn't give that much back on a single contract. Um, to where I to where I'm less than $2,000. So my losing days will always be smaller than my winning days, and as long as I'm got more winning days than losing days, my P&L curve should steadily rise. Okay. If I'm trading 3 days a week, did the math, and even if I lost two trades in one day, but the other 2 days were winning days, I'm still making about $3,200 to $3,500 per week. I can make that driving a truck, but it takes me a 70-hour week to do it. Um, and if I'm trading 3 days at 3 hours a day, that's 9 hours a week instead of 70. Okay. I'm good with that. So let's get into what we were looking at. Um, and I'll go into replay a little bit because I want to show you, where we're at as far as the morning goes. Okay. Uh, Today, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I'm going to get on the charts right around 7 o'clock. Okay. Um, and this wasn't here, and this wasn't here. Oh, no, 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 no. Right, go back, go back, go back, go back. Unlock. Delete. Okay. All right. So this is what I'm looking at. I'm also only going to be trading between the hours of 7:30 and 10:30. I will get on the charts at 7 o'clock in the morning to do my morning markup. I do my evening markups every day when the market closes. Um, so at 7 o'clock this morning, this is what I would have opened my charts to see, right? With the exception these weren't here, and you'll see these later. Actually, you know what? I've got some trades that could have been taken after 10:30. I'm going to get rid of them. I don't even want to see them. I'm not going to trade them. If I don't get my trades between 7:30 and 10:30, I'm not trading. There was more than just this trade to take. I'll show them to you. That was the last trade you could have taken, and it wasn't the best trade, but I'll show you why I would have taken it had I not taken the others that were available. Okay, so I've marked out every day. I'm going to mark out 7:30 to 9 and 9 to 10:30. I will be paying attention to highs and lows that are made in that time frame. I think I may just take out the 9 o'clock and just have my trade window from 7:30 to 10:30. Okay, and just not pay attention to the highs in this area. Um, but we'll see. I'll eventually start using those markups and seeing what happens in those separate time frames. Okay, so I get on the charts at 7 o'clock in the morning, and basically the first thing I want to do is look at the 4 hour, right? Um, and at this time, uh, this candle is only an hour into it, right? We haven't actually made this high yet, okay? Um, or did we? We did. We did. We didn't. I don't. I'll show it to you. But anyway, this is the 6 o'clock candle, okay? And this candle goes all the way to 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so this candle hasn't been completed. It's just started. Um, for some reason, that's just what it's showing. But at this time, what I do notice, okay, that's changed from yesterday is that I've made two new 4 hour swing points, right? Now, this one could be negated because this candle is still in motion and it could come down and sweep this low, okay? Um, so this may not be a 4 hour swing, but right now it looks like it's going to. And this is definitely a new 4 hour swing point that I need to mark. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put those two on the charts. Even if this one gets negated and I have to change it, that's fine. But right now I want to know that this is a 4 hour low uh, that we're working with during the day, right? Okay. So that's the only changes that need to be made on the charts. All right. Uh, no, that is not the only change that needs to be made on the charts, is it? Because what did we make yesterday? A 4 hour fair value gap. All right. We got into this one. We got that big flush that broke structure. Okay. So I actually need to put on my new 4 hour fair value gap that we made yesterday. And that was a bearish fair value gap. So that is good. We'll lock it in place. And then we'll move to our 15-minute chart. Everything else is the same. Um, oh, it's not, is it? All right, we made a couple of 4 hour fair value gaps up here. We just inverted this one when we made the bullish, which was the last fair value gap we made before we took liquidity at this fair value gap, right? So we need to put in a 4 hour inverted, uh, which will 4 hour fair value gap. Inverteds are purple. Okay. And then we have this 4 hour fair value gap here that we pushed into, but held, and looks like we probably just closed below the 50% on that one. Okay. So we're going to add that to the chart. That is a 4 hour fair value gap, and it is bullish. So there we go. We are stuck literally in the middle of some gaps. Um, so no surprise that we are ranging for the last few hours. All right. So now we're going to move to the 15-minute chart. Okay. And we're going to take a look and see what we have here. So the first thing I'm going to do is put on my S&D profile so I can see the Asian highs, lows, London's highs and lows, right? And I see the Asian high right here, and that is the 4-hour swing point that I marked out on the 4-hour chart. Okay. So I'm not going to mark that as an Asian high. I just know that the next 4-hour swing point above us is the Asian high. I also noticed that the London low is a 4-hour swing point. This is the one that could be negated because we're still in that 4-hour candle, right? Um, but for now, that is the low. London low could be a 4-hour swing low as well. Okay, so that's the way I'm going to leave my charts. I have my fair value gaps up, uh, and we can go from there. Now that I've got those are marked out, uh, and I'm not going to mark this London high uh, because it's not a 4-hour level. And if we break that London high, then maybe we'll go break that. I guess I should mark that out. So yeah, let's just go ahead and mark out the London high because we could sweep the London high without breaking the Asian high. So we just kind of need to keep that in perspective there. Okay, and we'll lock that in, and then we'll be done with that. So now I can turn off the S&D profile. I don't need it on the charts. There's too much there as it is with these fair value gaps surrounding us. Okay. Um, this 4-hour gap, since we made it, we came down, but did not invert it, and we moved back up. Now we have closed below the 50% mark in the London session. Looks like Asia stopped at the 50, pushed up, and then we came down. We've closed below the 50, so this very well could fair value gap could be done and not hold up. We'll have to see. If it doesn't hold up and we do break below it, because now we've closed back above it, if we break below it again, I'm just taking the fair value gap off the charts because prices just moved through it enough to where all those orders should now be taken care of. Okay. Um, so yeah, let's get our chart to 7 o'clock in the morning. Now that we have all of our levels marked up, uh, and we can go from there. Okay, or 7:30 in the morning, because that is our green light to start trading. Okay. All right. 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to move to the 1 minute chart. I really don't need to watch higher time frames because I have all of my higher time frames marked up. I do not have 15-minute fair value gaps or anything like that because I want to be trading at 4-hour levels. Okay. So, um, now that I know where everything's at, one last thing that I forgot to do. Um, what did we do yesterday? We had displacement that broke structure. Okay. So we were bullish all day long and through the overnight. And then New York Open said, no, we're not going to be bullish. We're going bearish. Break of structure with displacement. Um, I am now bearish on the day. Okay. This bearish fair value gap held. We made a new bear fair value gap as well as inverting a bullish fair value gap. All of that says bearish is the way we need to be today. We need to be looking for shorts. Okay. Um, so that's where I'm at. What happens when we have displacement with a break of structure or through a break of structure, right? Well, we're going to get a pullback. Well, what kind of pullback do I want to trade at if we get there? You're right, the 6-2 fib retracement, right? So I'm going to mark out this high to low, and now I have my fib up. The 50% mark, and what I see at this point in time is that Asia did break above and get into premium pricing. Okay. Um, which after inverting the fair value gap, we've pushed up, we've tested the inverted. We also have this bearish uh, right here. Asia went right to the 50% point and pulled back. So we may have missed a short opportunity here. Okay. Um, did we miss our short opportunity for the day? That's the question. Um, right now, my draw on liquidity, um, since we could have just taken liquidity from this fair value gap, and we could, you know, give back everything we dropped yesterday, um, or we could push down to this double bottom on the 15, which is a 4-hour swing point, or this fair value gap here. Okay, we don't know yet. We're kind of in the middle of everything, so I don't know, but I am still looking for shorts. Why? If this was going to be the fib high, the high of price into this fib levels, then we should be going down to the 2.7, okay, which is down below this fair value gap and these lows. So I have 2 points of liquidity that I could be looking for um, based off of this displacement, where the total uh, target profit would be down here. Okay, we may never get there, but that is basically how the fib works. If it reverses off of one of these levels, then the target profit is your 2.7. Okay. So, and right now we're in the middle of nowhere. We're in no man's land here. I have no clue what's going to happen with everything that's surrounding us, right? So, all right, we're set for the day. We're at 7 o'clock. Let's go to our 1 minute chart. And I'm basically just going to be watching a 1 minute chart. I don't need to be watching anything else because all of the levels that I need to trade off of are on the chart and I can see them when we get to them. Okay. So at 7:30, I'm just watching price. I know we've got news coming out at 8:30. Okay. Um, we sweep the London high. We're coming up to 8:30 news. And there's our 8:30 news candle. That really doesn't give me a whole lot of information other than the fact that we are back in premium pricing. Okay. Um, and it just swept the Asian high. But I'm not going to trade here. I do not trade news on the news. Um, I want to give it 20, 30 minutes to chill out and then tell me which way it wants to move. Okay. Because news candles can get really big really fast. All right. Even if I miss a trade, I'm cool with it. I don't really care. I'll look for another entry point, right? So now we're coming in. Um, we're above the 50. We haven't hit the 6.2 yet. We just swept the news candle, and it's now 8:40. So about 10 minutes after the news. Um, I'm still would be a little cautious here. Um, now, and this is why I don't trade right after the news, right? This was the last fair value gap we made on the sweep of the London high, okay? And the sweep of this and of the Asian high, which is the 4-hour level. And we immediately invert that fair value gap. But I don't want to take it. It's my setup, but it's right after news. I mean, literally 3 minutes after the news comes out. I just don't want to trade it. If that kept going down and I missed that trade, I'm okay with that. I'll find another trade somewhere else. If another one doesn't show up, so be it. I don't trade that day. Okay. These are the hard and fast rules that I have to live by. Okay. We go up and we sweep that high, right? Um, that could be a pretty good short opportunity as well if we invert this fair value gap. Okay, it's not a big one, but it's there. We don't invert it. We don't close below it yet. Okay. Um, so we're looking, and now we've made another fair value gap a little bit higher than that, right? Um, right here. So we have stacked fair value gaps on top of each other right here. All right. We made the high on news. We swept that high. What do I tend to look for? Um, is a fake out breakout, a sweep of a high, pull back, a double sweep, which is the fake out breakout, and then my inverted candle reversal, right? It's typically what I look for. Um, doesn't always happen, but right now we still don't have an inversion of any of these bullish fair value gaps. Now we're at 847, right? So news has settled down. The candles have gotten a little smaller, probably because we're not displacing through this high yet. It's always possible because what's above us, the 6-2 on the fib. Okay. Um, but we are in this bearish fair value gap inside the inverted. So I'm definitely interested, looking now that news has settled. Uh, and if we get our setup up in here, I'm ready to take it. We have two uh, fair value gaps here stacked on each other that we could trade from if they get inverted. Okay. There's a sweep of that high. Is this the fake out breakout? Boom. Fake out breakout. Immediately come down and invert both of those fair value gaps on the 1 minute. And that is my trade entry. Okay. To go short. First opportunity of the day at 8:51. Okay. Now I have templates set up for these for a 20-point stop loss and a 3-to-1 risk reward, right? Now, I'm not going to change this target profit. And at the time this happens, I'm not putting this box up and hitting create limit orders. I'm hitting the market button for two contracts, okay? Um, and actually, we'll just do it here. We'll add one to it, and that is our sell right there, okay? We are short two contracts. This is risking $800, and let's just go ahead and pull it up. Now, here's a choice I have to make. 790, and my take profit is going to be down here, and that would be $2,410, right? But I don't want to limit my upside. I am going to take one contract off here and move my stop loss to break even at that point, okay? Because at the very least, I want to make that $1,200. Is that's less than two losing trades, okay? Which the whole purpose of this is to keep your winning trades bigger than two losing trades. But we'll see what happens. I kind of want to see if I need to just go with a straight 3R and take all my profit right there, or if the price weighted trailing stop will be of benefit to me, okay, or a hindrance to me. Let's see. So I'm going to cancel that order right there. I'm going to leave my stop in, but I have to make a decision on my stop here, okay? Um, because as you can see, it is slightly below the high. Um, but it is above both inverted fair value gaps. Okay. Because the top of the last inverted fair value gap is right here. So there's a good distance between those inverted fair value gaps and my stop. So I really don't feel like I need to move it. Okay. And this actually should be $800. Okay. That's my stop loss on two contracts at 20 points. Okay. So this stop loss, I don't feel like I need to move, and I really don't want to be risking any more than 20 points, even if my stop loss is below a high, um, because that's just the numerics, the math that creates the system. You know? Now, depending on how high that high is, maybe I just don't take the trade because it's too much risk. Okay. This one is super close, and I'm okay with that. All right. Would I have known that when I clicked the market buy button, sell button? No. I would have known it as soon as I put my box up after doing that, you know, because basically, um, I'm clicking the market button on the close of this candle. And then I immediately have to go in and grab my short tool, come down here to my entry, and throw on my NQ template. And now I can set my stop loss. Hopefully this thing in 1 minute doesn't just shoot straight back up. Um, and I have time to set my stop loss, right? So, but I do know that $800 is my stop loss. So even if the candle started moving back up as I was trying to set my stop loss, if I saw it get to 800 before I could place my stop loss, I would just close the trade. Okay. But that shouldn't happen because I should have picked a good entry point to take a trade that's going to give me my profit, right? All right. So let's see what happens. Let's quit talking. Um, we want to get down to at least 3-1, or we get stopped out, one or the other. Woohoo, baby. That was close. That was close. I already know what's going to happen. But now, I don't know what's going to happen with the price weighted trailing stop because I didn't do it yet. When I did the review the first time, I just took the profit at 3-1. Okay. This time I'm actually going to use my trailing stop. Okay. Now, we hit our target profit and we've bounced back. Okay. Now, if I put a trailing stop on here, did we break through a level? Well, we did break this low and we did break through this low. So when this candle breaks this low, this candle breaks this low, we go to the candle next to it. Anytime we break a low, even if it doesn't close below it, we move our stop to here. Now, I'm going to guess that on this trade, this is going to work against me. In fact, I know it's going to work against me. All right. Because I think if I remember correctly, we do come into this fair value gap to test it. Um, well, wait a minute. We hit this, we pull back. Okay, we're not going to count this, right? This is our price structure. Okay, we're saved. All right, I think so. I think we're saved. So this is the candle that broke structure because we had to pull back. We came down, we broke that low. This is the candle that did it. So my stop goes to here. Okay, so at the very least, now I am sitting at $260 profit if I get stopped out, right? Um, so let's see what happens. Okay, we get another pullback into the fair value gap. Don't do it. Stopped out there. Yeah, we're only up $260. Now, if I were to take the next day, I take two losses, you know, I'm in drawdown. That's not going to cover it. That win will not cover it. Where I could have taken the full win. Okay. So let's just go back. And this is where I think for now I'm just going to go with the 3-1. If I hit target profit, close the trade, right? Um, and here's why. Let's just go back to our entry point right here. Okay. Oh, that's not far enough back. Let's go right here. This is why I think I need to just go to 3-1 because the trailing stop could harp. Oh shit! I missed it again. What the fuck am I doing? Not paying attention to what I'm doing. All right, boom, boom. There's our entry. We sell two, and we move our stop loss to $800. Okay, and we go ahead and set our step take profit at 2,400, 3-1. Okay, and we already know, uh, even though we come really close to stopping out. I mean, on these two pushes up, I'm like, okay, I'm getting stopped out. This is a losing trade. Yeah, I've already dealt with it. I'm gonna lose. Oh, wait a minute. Holy shit. Maybe. All right. Boom. We make our $2,410 for the day, and we are out of the trade at 9:37 in the morning. At 9:30, we're done for the day. We get out of here. We go enjoy our lives. All right. So I think this is what I'm gonna have to do, uh, and just do the not deal with the trailing stop right now. Okay. Now, if I were going to take more than one trade in a day, the trailing stop would be fine. I would still be in profit. I would be taking, we were at like 260, so I'd still be taking a little over $2,000 of my drawdown though, okay, because of that pullback in an Apex account. And I really don't want to do that either. So targeting the 3-1, I think, is probably just the best idea. And if this is going to work, 3-1 on a good trade shouldn't be hard to hit on a 1 minute chart. Okay. Um, yeah, it's 60 points, but you know, the NASDAQ can move up to 400 or 500 points a day. So, uh, and everything was in our favor, right? We swept the London high, we swept the Asia high. We're in premium price. We're in a bearish fair value gap, in an inverted bull fair value gap, and we have a bearish bias on the day. So as soon as we get that entry model, we take it. We can't ask for anything better than that. Okay. If we take the loss, we still have another chance to take a trade because we can take two losses in a day before we have to stop, right? Okay. So even if this one stopped us out and we kept trading, well, where's our next trade? Um, let's just say this one stopped us out up here. Okay. Where would our next trade be? I would argue right here, right? I mean, we made a bearish fair value gap back below the 50%. That is a strong displacement candle that breaks lows, breaks several lows. Broke this one, broke this one. Um, and we got this double bottom here, triple bottom basically right here, um, that we also swept. Now that could be a sweep to go higher up to the 6.2, but this fair value gap. Let's study this for a minute. Okay. And this is why I would have taken this trade had this one stopped me out, right? All right. We get displacement that makes this fair value gap. Okay. We wait, make sure the fair value gap is made, and it is, then we push down, and then we come to push back up. Well, as soon as the fair value gap is made, we push down, and then we start coming back up, and I see this white candle. That could be the beginning of the pullback. Well, if we displace the break structure, what am I looking for? The same thing I was looking for on the first trade, a 6-2 retrace, right? So as soon as I see this white candle, that could be the start of a pullback into this fair value gap. I want to throw a fib from the high to the low. And I want to take a trade where? Because if we're bearish, okay, if this one just happened to sweep the high and dump back down and made this fair value gap, then I want to trade in here, okay, because I think we're still bearish. Price is now showing me we're bearish because we broke the low with displacement, created the fair value gap, okay? So I would enter at the 6-2, all right, of this fib retracement on this candle on the way up, right? So if I put a short on there, let's just go ahead. Let's go back before we made the fair value gap, okay? And we continue on from here. We make the fair value gap. We push down higher, and then we get our white candle. We put our fib on, okay? Now we're interested in taking a trade. Um, and this is going to be close, but it's not going to be exact. All right. This candle pushes up into the 6-2, and I'm going to sell 2 contracts right there. All right. I have an $800 stop loss. Okay. And where does that stop loss put me? It puts me above the high, above the fair value gap. So if we break that and we invert this fair value gap, obviously my trade is wrong. If this one stopped me out, this will be the second loss on the day, and I'll be done for the day. Wait till tomorrow, come back and do it again. Okay? Because with this system, I should have a better win rate over the long run to stay profitable. Okay, my take profit is $2,400. Nope. Yep. There we go. $2,400. That's a 3-to-1 trade. All right. So let's get to it. Scary ass trade, ain't it? All right. But we hit our profit. Okay. Now, the reason I had this one marked, and I'll show you why. If for some reason I didn't take that trade, which I certainly should have. So we lost 800 here. We won 2,400. We're up 1,600 on the day. 1,600 will cover a losing day. Two losing trades where I have to quit trading for the day. I've just made enough profit to cover that. If that happens, I'm still break even on my account, even though I've taken some drawdown, right? But right now I'm not in drawdown. I closed my trade at the max profit. Okay. I closed this trade at the max profit. I just didn't draw the box on there. And we have zero drawdown. We have our full $7,500 drawdown. So if I lose 2 trades tomorrow, I'm still at three. If I just started this combine, if I lose 2 trades tomorrow, I'm still right at $300,000. Break even on the account, and I've only used 1,600 in drawdown. Okay. Any day that's a losing day where I lose 2 trades in a row, I am going to be only in $1,600 drawdown. Okay. So how many losing days would I have to have in a row without any wins at all to blow my account. 4, actually 4.5. I'd be able to take one trade on that fifth day. Okay, that's an entire week of losing trades. That shouldn't happen. If it does, I need to just, maybe it's just a bad week. You know, there will be those weeks, I'm sure, but I need to take a look at my trades over that week and see what really went on, because guaranteed somewhere in there I took some bad trades. The system should not lose for an entire week. Okay. But this trade, let's get to it. Where are we at on time? 45 minutes. Okay. All right. I'll explain this, then we'll be done. Um, the reason I would have taken this trade is we are back into this fair value gap. We're back into premium pricing. This inverted fair value gap, we didn't quite touch it. Um, we're back in our fib. Everything is still valid on this trade that was valid from here, right? We pushed up, we pushed past the 50% mark of that inverted fair value gap, whatever. Um, but what happened that would allow me to take this trade is this is displacement. Okay, this should have created a fair value gap, a bullish fair value gap, and it swept two highs. Okay, so that is strong buying pressure. Immediately, immediately, we come straight back down with an equal and opposite candle. Now, what is that? That does two things. Okay, number one, it shows me great selling pressure, but two, it traps all these buyers. Okay, everybody who is long on this candle, any retail traders that are in here, I'm sure there's some market manipulation as well. And I'll show you that because there was. Uh, any retail traders in this trading the breakouts for longs are now trapped when this candle closes. So when I say manipulation, what we had was this was a pullback into the fair value gap. We made a low, and for a few minutes there, quite a few minutes, we literally just ranged between that high and this low, right? And then we get our manipulation move. Now, if we are bearish, which this fair value gap showed us we are, we tested it, we went broke the low. Okay. If we're bearish, we should see manipulation above a range. Okay. So this breakout above range that slams right back into the center of the range, that is a manipulation move. Okay. And I'm willing to go short here. All right. So if you had taken that trade, just FYI, um, you would have hit your three to one target profit just after 10:30 and been done for the day. Okay. We were still inside our 10:30 cutoff area when we took the trade. So it's valid. Everything was still valid here. Okay. It was just a manipulation move is all it was. All right. So that was the day, that I reviewed, three chances to take trades in my window. All three trades would have won. Um, so yeah, that's that. That's how easy it is, right? All right. If anybody's watched this whole video, to watch the explanations on this, congratulations. Um, your attention span is much longer than a squirrel and quite a bit longer than most humans. Um, and I appreciate it. So this is how I'm going to start trading. I want to see it. I, you know, I just want to see it. This should give me a steady upwards P&L curve. Am I going to have those $10,000 days? Absolutely not, because my biggest win is going to be $2,400. But, over a course of the week, how much money am I going to make? Depends on how many days I trade, how many days I lose, right? I don't need a I don't need a 60 or 70% win rate on the system. I need a 60 to 70% win rate on the daily. Okay. So I need more winning days than losing days. That's all I need. And I trust the system enough to give me that. Okay. Um, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Today was a great day. It worked out great. We were using our 4 hour levels, our fibs. Um, everything worked out perfect. Um, and that is it. That is what I am going to be doing uh, from here on out. There were more trades to be taken later on in the day. We did actually come down and sweep that double bottom in the 4 hour that I was looking at. We did break the London low. So those were two other 4 hour areas you could have traded to um, on selling above highs, okay, on sweeps. That was a great one. That's the one that actually went down to break that one. Before that, we had a push up. It was valid to take down to sweep the London low. And that would have been a 3-to-1 trade, okay, down in here somewhere. Um, so there are other trades to take later in the day. I am not going to do it because when I retire out of trucking, come 10:30 in the morning, win or lose, or no trade at all, I want to be able to go out and enjoy the rest of my day. I do not want to be sitting on the charts for 8 hours, 9 hours a day, waiting for a trade. If I don't get one in this time frame, I just don't trade that day. Okay. All right. I am going to cut this short. We're getting close to an hour, which is absolutely crazy. I just can't seem to get this video less than an hour. I've recorded it a few times. So, hope everybody has a great weekend. I will mark up charts and do a weekly prep for next week and see what I'm looking for at that point. Again, probably won't trade on Monday, but I will be watching price action, just to see what happens. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I don't think I'm going to be trading on Monday, unless we do go lower and grab this 4 hour fair value gap and see what happens from there. It would be a good place to trade from to get that 3-to-1 bounce off of it. Um, but right now, everything is showing us, and we actually even inverted uh, this gap on the 4 hour time frame as well. So we're inverting bullish fair value gaps. We're creating bearish fair value gaps. So right now I am still bearish. I will obviously take a bounce off of this 4 hour fair value gap for a 60-point move to the upside. But until we start breaking structure and start creating bullish fair value gaps that hold on the 4 hour time frame, I am still bearish because that is what price is showing me at the moment. Okay. All right. Everybody have a great weekend. I'm going to finish cleaning the truck and enjoy tomorrow without the dogs until they get back in the truck tomorrow afternoon. And then we are going to be ready to go back to work uh, and get this truck back in the black because it is in the red at the moment. And that sucks because I'm broke, but I got everything I need. I got food in the truck. I got drinks in the truck. I got all the nicotine I need in these. I am going to stop buying cigarettes and just use my vapes and see if I can get through that. So, uh, take care, everybody. Everybody have a blessed weekend. Uh, I will see you in the next video, which will be the weekly prep before the Sunday Open. and then see everybody in some live sessions next week. All right. Until then, see ya.